Good day, my level fives. Hope that you guys are well. This is just a walkthrough of the formative and summative. I'm going to start with the leadership section because that's the section that comes first. So I'll do the formative, and then I'll do the summative, and then I'll go through the different unit standards in the same way. So let's firstly just go through the POE guide. You have to sort of fill things out in order to declare that you have done all the work yourself and that you are prepared to be assessed on it. So the first place that you are going to have to fill something in is over here. So what page is this? It is page number 3. Okay, so you need to put the to be completed date. So that's the 30th of June. You guys still have a month to do this. If you have any special needs, so if you deal with things like dyslexia or anything like that, or maybe you're having an operation in the next month, then at least let us know. Then you understand that you have the right to appeal any assessment outcome, so you can just do yes. And then you need to just fill in over here your name, your ID number, as well as sign and date. Okay. Then you have to declare that this is your work and only your work, that you haven't copied from someone else. So over here, please make sure that you put your name, your signature, and the date. All right. Then I know that most of you are going to be doing it electronically, but if you do it with pen and paper, then please just make sure that you are using a black or blue pen. It doesn't really matter either or. And then that you don't use Tipex or pencil, because those are the things that are really going to mess up with your assessment. So if you do, then please make sure that you are not using Tipex and pencil. Okay, and then just remember over here is a good format to use. I know that Jacques has done a fantastic format, so if you want to steal from him, that's probably the only thing that you're allowed to steal. So if you look at the way that he's set up his pages, it's very well set up, but you need to make sure that your name, your ID number, what unit standard you're working on, and what question you are dealing with is definitely on that. And then always start your answer with the question. That always helps, because then we can sort of relate the one back to the other. Okay, thank you very much. Now we can move on to the formative assessment. And the first thing that we're going to be looking at is the formative assessment, which is based on unit standard 120300, which is all about leadership. Okay, so let's go. Define leadership using 3 recognized authors. Now, you can either Google search this, or you can go into your reference guide. In your reference guide, you will see a couple of definitions as given by scholars, and page 15 is where you're going to find that. Then you're going to look at the roles and qualities of a leader. Now, a lot of that is internal. You already know that, and you're welcome to put them down. So remember, you have 10 marks. So look at 5 roles, look at 5 qualities, and you'd get your 10 marks. But if you need some help, then go to page number 21. That's going to give you the roles. And then just think about the qualities. What do you want in a leader? Honesty, integrity, da-da-da. Add those to your answer. Then identify and describe the roles and qualities of a manager. Now, we've looked at the difference between a leader and a manager. The thing that you need to do with this one is just think about what a manager does in the context of your business. Sets up systems, puts in procedures, and so on and so on. But page 40 will give you a good understanding as to what the manager's role is within a business. Now, think about the qualities that a good manager has to have in order to achieve the management role. And that would help you to answer question number 1, section 3. Then question 2 is read the statement and answer the questions that follow. So the statement is, management is doing things right. Leadership is doing the right things. Now, you guys have looked through leadership. You guys have looked through management. Now, tell me what you think about that quote and how the difference between management and leadership is expressed in that specific statement. 6 marks. So try and think of 6 points. Then define the term accountability and responsibility and outline the importance of each in the workplace. So if you're going to look for accountability and responsibility in your reference guide, it's page 43 and page 44. So tell me how important it is to hold people responsible and to hold people accountable, and why. Then explain the roles of leaders and managers and how they complement each other. Now, we've looked at it and we said you need to have leaders and you need to have managers. Why do we need both? And a lot of that is spelt out on page number 42 and the section that is before that, but that's going to help you to crystallize your thinking. Okay, then you're going to go through a case study based on the life of Nelson Mandela. Now, we did that in class as well. So you already have a feeling for this case study. And remember the key points that we picked up. So what I want you to do again is read through it, underline what values, what qualities, what characteristics Nelson Mandela had, and then just put them down in that question. So read through the case study, and then look at all the key characteristics and qualities that he showed through that case study. Okay. Then you can go to question number 6. Now, in order to get all 15 marks, you've got to remember what the question is asking. So it says, read the following case studies. Then for each case study, identify the leader's leadership style and explain the advantages and disadvantages of each style. So if you want to know the different styles, okay, the different styles, it is on page number 40. Where's the styles? Where's the styles? Oh no, okay, I missed out. Where's question number 4? Apologies. Okay, so I've skipped forward to question number 5. Keep question number 5 as it is. Question number 4. Sorry, question number 4. I skipped out. I apologize for that. Now, this identify the 4 leadership theories, and for each leadership theory, describe its core features, its trends and development, and its advantages and disadvantages. Now, each theory is obviously a lot of content. So if you went to page number 47, and that's where it started, you will see that we spoke about trait leadership, about transformational leadership, about transactional, visionary, and servant leadership. So you need to choose 4, any 4 of those. Then describe its core features. Now remember, you've got 8 to describe 4 leadership theories. So make sure that you have 2 very comprehensive sentences that spells out the core understanding of each theory. Then explain its trends and development. Tell me, how did it grow? When did it grow? Has it still been used? Why has it not been used? So again, for every theory, give me 2 key ideas. And then outline its advantages and disadvantages. So if you look at 16, you're probably looking at 2 very important advantages and 2 very important disadvantages in order to get full marks. So that starts on page number 47. Now I can take you to question number 6. All right, question number 6. It says, read the following case studies, and for each study, identify the manager's leadership style. Okay, so that's not the theory. The theories are trait, visionary, servant, transactional, transformational. The actual style is autocratic, democratic, results-driven, and laissez-faire. So those are the different leadership styles. So you will find those leadership styles on page 24 to page 26. Now, I want you to read through all those case studies and then tell me what leadership style that person used. And then what are the advantages and what are the disadvantages of those particular styles as they are shown in the case study. Okay, so that is that. Then question number 7. It says, read the following scenario and answer the questions that follow. So I want you to read the case study and then tell me, based on the case study, what led to the wrong way? Why did they get it so wrong? So tell me, based on the case study, why they got it so wrong. Then, using the facts of the story, tell us the difference between management and leadership. Now, you will see that there is a big conflict between management and leadership in this case study. So, using this case study, tell me leadership versus management, how they work themselves out. Okay, so it's not a lot of points. So, just keep to the brief and give me the facts of the story that explain the difference between management and leadership. Okay, now, then you got to go to the next case study, which is question number 8. And so, what I want you to do is to understand what leadership theory, okay, so not leadership style anymore, leadership theory. So, transactional, trait, servant, visionary, and transformational. Based on this, tell me which theory was being applied by the company. Okay. And then I want you to justify your answer. So again, it's 5 marks. So 1 mark will be for telling me which theory, and the other 4 marks will be telling me why you believe it is that specific theory. Then, if you were to do a personal development analysis of your leadership capability, and then you find the following, tell me how you would put together a leadership development plan. So let's say you do your analysis and you say you find it difficult to associate with your team members, both at work and outside work. So it's you struggling to build a relationship with your team members at work and outside work. So think about that. How would you action it in terms of building relationships? Then you lack personal motivation and blame everything on your superiors. Now, is that this a sign of a good leader or a weak leader? Now, I think it's a weak leader, but that's up to you. Now, how do you deal with increasing your personal motivation and not blaming others for problems? And then when making decisions, you tend to concentrate on the short run rather than the bigger picture. Now, thinking about that, what kind of actions could you take in order to create a personal development process? Okay, so those are the 3 things that have come out. What you then do is I want you to go to page 27 and 28, and there is a process, step by step, on how to put together a leadership development plan. Okay, so for each of those 3 different elements that someone picked out of their leadership development analysis, you are going to define a leadership development plan based on step by step approaches. So that is going to be question 9. Use the steps as outlined on page 27 and 28, and then you help them with those 3 elements that they have not been too good at. Okay, so ladies and gents, that is 133 marks. Remember that in order for you to be seen as competent, you would need to achieve over 51%, and we would just need to make sure that you are above that. Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's go to your summative. So we're still talking about leadership, but let's go to the summative section and to make sure that we know what to do to complete that. Okay, so remember, formative, understanding the concept. Summative, being able to apply that understanding in practical real life situations. Okay, so with 4 different definitions, explain the concept of leadership. Now, you've looked at those different scholars who have given different definitions of leadership. Now, you can use those. Those are going to be then again the same as in your formative section, or otherwise you could do some of your own research. Hear what other people have to say about leadership and what they think leadership is, and then explain the concept of leadership. So remember, 12 marks. So give a definition and then give explanations to why that definition makes sense. Then, with the aid of examples, differentiate between leadership and management. So over here, they're saying practically tell us the difference between leadership and management based on an example. So I have seen a leader at work and they use that specific tactic. When a manager that I've worked with, they use this specific tactic. And that is now differentiating between leadership and management. Great. Then question number 2. Again, what are the advantages and disadvantages of responsibility and accountability? What is the advantages and disadvantages of responsibility and accountability? Now, if you give someone responsibility, there will be good facets to that and there will be bad facets to that. Explain those. If I give someone accountability, there will be good things that come out of that and bad things that could come out of that, and give me the understanding of that. So again, you guys could go to page 43 and 44, just recap what accountability and responsibility is, and that's going to help you to be able to answer that question. Then, in the context of your workplace, identify and describe any 4 leadership theories. Now, we've looked at 5 leadership theories. Now, what I want you to do is to look at 4 of those leadership theories and how they apply to your business. So, we use trait leadership. Why do we use trait leadership? Because there are certain personality characteristics that are needed in the leadership of this business. What are they? Now, we are unpacking those 4 leadership theories within the context of our business. So, how are they applied within our business? Remember that you never get a pure leadership theory. It's always going to be these elements of that leadership theory that is applied within our business. How is it applied within your business? Then, question number 2, identify the advantages and disadvantages of each leadership theory that you have identified. So, based on you implementing that leadership theory within your workplace, what are the advantages and what are the disadvantages to having that theory as part of your leadership understanding? Okay, so that's how you're going to answer that one. Then, question number 4 only focuses on the current trends and developments related to the leadership theories. So, go to where it speaks about trait leadership, servant leadership, transformational leadership, and visionary leadership. And then tell me, is it still being applied? When was it applied? Is it still being applied? Why is it not being applied? So, what are the current trends and developments? And so you'll see that in each of those sections, they'll talk about it, and it's going to be one of the parts of the content. So let me just tell you again where to go and find it. So you'll find it, so where you had the trait leadership, servant leadership, transformational leadership, and visionary leadership, which I will tell you now is towards the end of the unit standard. So it starts on page number, there we go, page number 47. Now, a lot of the trends will be brought up on the first page, on page 47, but you can go deeper by reading through all those different leadership theories and telling me about the trends and developments. Okay. Question number 5 says, look at the case study and determine what leadership theory was being used by the company. So you will read through the case study, and based on the story, what leadership theory were they using? Okay, and then you need to justify why you believe it was that specific leadership theory. Okay, and that will give you all your marks. Then question number 6 says, what is the term role model, and establish its effect in the workplace environment or the working environment. So we know what a role model is. Explain what a role model is and why it is significant within a working environment. So it's so important to understand how important role models are within the business and how they work in a business. Page 22, there is a section you'll see, I think it's Gandhi's face there. You can read a little bit and then formulate your answer. Okay, question number 7. So now it also goes into some case studies. So now you need to look at the leadership style again. Autocratic, democratic, laissez-faire, and results-driven. Which one of these is being played out in this specific case study. So question 7, you'll see a case study, another case study, and a third case study. And so they say, identify the manager's leadership style and how it influences the performance of the employees. Now, you're using a specific leadership style. Those can either improve productivity, improve the performance, improve the results, or it can have the opposite effect if you use the wrong leadership style. So in these case studies, tell me what leadership style was approached and what was the impact on the performance of the employee. All right, now some practical tasks. I want you to look at 2 different people in your business. One who you see as a leader and one who you see as a manager. And what I want you to do is to compare those 2 individuals and differentiate their roles and their qualities. Now, who are those individuals and what do they bring to the business that is different? So, how can we see that one is a leader and one is a manager? And what roles do they play and what qualities do they have? And that is how you're going to do number 10. Then identify and describe the complementary roles that the individuals perform within the workplace. Now, you need leaders and you need managers. Now, why do those 2 have to work together in order to get the right results? So, what are the complementary roles that the 2 of them perform that make sure that the company is better because of the 2 of them? So, that's going to be part 2. Then you are going to do a self-assessment. And that self-assessment is based on the questionnaire and the personal development plan. So go through the questionnaire. We did look at it. You have got some kind of exposure to it. So now I want you to do it for real. Be honest with yourself. It's not about showing off or trying to make yourself look better. Just be honest. And based on what you find in the analysis, then you're going to show me your personal development plan based on that specific specific areas where you have not done too well. Okay, so it deals with the vision, with the communication, with the integrity, awareness, and self-management, cultivates productive relationships, and supports and develops peoples and teams, achieves results, and the leadership capabilities in total. So based on that, you're going to look, okay, where am I underperforming? And you're going to put together an individual leadership and development plan. Okay, so that would be, what is the top priority? What do I need to do? How can I get these leadership skills and abilities? How long will it take me to get that? What will I need? And how will I know that I am progressing? How will I know that I am becoming a better leader? All right, then task number 3. Identify one individual in your organization who you see as a good leader and a role model. This person needs to be a superior, so in other words, a higher level than you on the organogram. And in order for you to be able to answer the following, you need to observe this person, okay, as they conduct their day to day, see what makes them a good leader. How do they handle themselves? What do they do in a conflict situation? Just watch them and the way that they operate. But some of you will know them quite well, so you will already understand some examples of why they are good leaders. And then you need to perform an interview. So have a 15-minute chat and ask them about the leadership philosophy, why they do certain things, how they do certain things, and what is their leadership understanding. Okay, so name the person and their position. Identify their leadership roles and qualities in the context of your organization. What leadership style do they believe in? And use examples of situations. And then, in your opinion, which leadership theory does the individual follow, and give your reasons? Then, what does this person do that positively influences your behavior, your work, and your qualities as a leader? Now, obviously, being a good leader can be contagious. Now, what do they do that positively influences you and others in terms of your behavior, work, and qualities? And then you need to provide some evidence. So if you're going to do an interview, give me the interview notes. If you're going to watch them, then show me that you've done observations. So give me some kind of evidence that you have engaged with this person and have been able to unpack their leadership. All right. Then task number 4. You need to select one leadership theory that you think is applicable to your workplace. Use this theory in your day-to-day activities and write a feedback report on how you applied the theory, the benefits of the theory, and the limitations of the theory. So let's say you walk in and you say, hey, I'm going to look at transformational leadership. I want you to read about transformational leadership and behave as a transformational leader. Do the principles of transformational leadership. Tell me how you did it. And also tell me what the reactions were from the people around you. What were the benefits? What were the weaknesses? And in so doing, you're going to be able to give me a real life case study of how well that specific leadership theory works within your context. And so spell out as much as you possibly can and do it in a structured way so that we know that you are able to give that experiment and be able to give us some conclusions to that experiment of being able to apply a leadership theory. Okay, so that is leadership, and there's 186 marks in your summative guide. And remember, 51% is going to be your pass mark. So make sure that you are going to be achieving over 93, but go for the full 186. Okay, so if you have any questions, you know how to get hold of me, and please don't suffer in silence.